There's an extraordinary freedom that each of us has in every new moment.
So the idea is to break things down and to engage in the process.
It's yourself that needs to be able to find that light, to step into the light, to empower yourself.
Because what we think and what we believe about ourselves is how we accomplish the things we want in the world and how we get to speak our message each time we have one to give.
It all begins by understanding the mind.
I want to be happy now. I don't care about the future. I want to be happy right now.
You are not alone. You are never, ever, ever alone in this.
It's helped my voice grow and given me freedom to be creative on my own.
I'm Christina Barcy. Welcome to Be Bold, Begin, a podcast dedicated to you, the creative, the healer, and the innovator. The topics and conversations we have here are designed to help you discover what might be getting in your way and offer you tools, techniques, and guidance to move through them.
I live in the imposter's body more than I live in my own body. I don't have to feel like I don't deserve this.
This is where creativity and healing intersect.
If you decide to be bold and begin, you have the opportunity to feel humbled and empowered. I totally believe that.
I'm a certified Kaizen Muse creativity coach, a certified Reiki energy healer, and an entrepreneur, artist, and presenter. I will share with you my experiences, my proven tools and techniques that helped me and my clients and loved ones shift and expand in the areas they most desired. This is a gentle and open space where you will hear how others are being bold to encourage you to begin your own journey or expand the one you're on. This is Be Bold Begin. Hi, and welcome back. This is Barcy, your host. And today we are celebrating over 100 episodes. Technically, this is the 189th episode that we're creating for Be Bold Begin, but because we've done so many bonuses, this one will be numbered as number 100. So with that said, I've been reflecting on not only my journey with this podcast, but my growth journey as a whole since I began the show back in March of 2018. The podcast has become a huge tool in my own growth journey, both as a professional in the podcasting industry, because as most of you know, my company, Avant House Media, is my podcast development and production agency that I founded, but also in my own healing journey, my own creative growth journey, and my own personal growth. I can literally say that creating this podcast has made me a better person. Getting to learn from all of the amazing guests that have come on the show and from you, my amazing listeners, because when I get to hear from you and the impact an episode has in your journey, it not only means the world to me to know that it's having an impact on you and not just me, but your feedback does help me listen more intuitively and share with you the ways that are resonating with you. So for this special episode, I put together a short compilation that spans the journey, and I'm sure you can hear the difference in my voice from the early episodes compared to the ones that come later. But I wanted to choose ones that emphasized our main pillars that I believe are at the core of transformation. Those are small steps, intuition, self-kindness, gratitude, and creativity. I hope you enjoy this fun 100th episode of Be Bold Begin. Hi, creative people. Welcome to the very first Be Bold Begin podcast. I'm going to show you how to begin. First, I'm going to introduce you to the idea of Kaizen. By the way, I'm Christina. Most people call me Barcy. I am Christina Barcy. And today I'm sitting in my home office recording this podcast on my cell phone. For now, we're going to talk about Kaizen. I'm also a Kaizen Muse creativity coach, which was created by Jill Badonsky. She's amazing.
Creativity is one of the most important relationships we can have with ourselves because it's all about what we say to ourselves. We can either say, I'm not good enough, or I'm not good enough yet, or who cares whether I think I'm good enough? I'm going to do this anyway. Let's just try this. It's all self-talk. It's all things we're saying to ourselves and being on our own side. And if this doesn't go to where I want it to go, I'm going to be okay.
And the tip for today is just start listening to your own inside voice. What do you say to yourself? Just be curious. Try to be in a place of curiosity and start listening to the types of phrases and things that you say to yourself in your head. We all have an inner monologue that's going on, and usually there's more than one, and there's usually one voice that's louder than the other. And for a lot of us, that voice is the negative self-talk voice that's telling us, oh my God, that's crap. Nope, you can never do that. That's not for you. That's for everyone else. You're not worth it. You should just stop now. All the things that are stopping us. And it kind of goes in, it kind of builds off of the fear episode that we did. But, it's connected, and just start being aware. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have to change anything. You don't have to do anything at this point. Just start listening to the things that you say to yourself. And what used to happen to me is I would get the good voice would come through, and then I would shut it down because it felt so awkward. It felt so out of practice and unusual for me to dive in and listen to the positive voice. So I would shut it down. And I would shove it down, and then I would just let that negative voice speak louder. But it wasn't until I started feeling around on what would it feel like if I did believe the nice things that part of me was trying to say. What if I did let that voice speak a little louder?
I almost gave up on being kind because I started beating myself up about why do you always want to have this urge to help people, and why do you always want to be able to give back? And it's unfortunate. I started beating myself up about it, right? Because I was like, you're gullible. Why were you doing this and that? And then, whatever, I worked through it, and I said, you know what? Inherently, that is who I am. And even if I try to push it down and suppress it, it's something I want to do every day.
Today, I want to talk a little bit about intuition, because intuition is at the core of everything you do, whether you know it or not. You're either listening to your intuition, ignoring your intuition, letting it guide you a little bit, questioning it, all of that decision-making that happens when you're wondering if you should take this direction, take that direction, how you feel about something. Maybe it's really clear, maybe it isn't. The thing with your intuition is it's really important to develop a really strong relationship with it, because it will help cut these questions in half in terms of the time you spend on figuring out what's right for you and what's true to your path.
I thought the problem was my job, but the problem wasn't my job. It was this lack of me knowing and being who I was, and being in what I would say the truth of who I was. And so it's really transformative, because it's almost like you don't have to change all of your circumstances. You just come into your own being and your own understanding, and then your life transforms. And I've seen that happen for myself time and time again.
I just want to tell everybody, your voice is valid. You need to find out what you know that can make the world a better place, that can add to the good, that can make the world more beautiful, sonically wonderful.
I hope that if anybody is listening, that if you're feeling anything, whatever it is, you are not alone. I know for a long time I felt alone. Dance. I can't encourage, just even give it a try. Just put on some music and dance. And I'm telling you, there's some things that come about that. And I know that life is full of different things, and I can't encourage people enough to dance.
I had to just finally open my eyes and realize I'm good. It's yourself that needs to be able to find that light, to step into the light, to empower yourself. You can't count on anybody. It has to come from within. You're always going to be enough.
My life had changed so much since I had been home. I'd gone into yoga and, eating organic and just taking care of myself. And I started just to have a different perspective on life. And then after my mom, I started to explore more spirituality and my purpose, and just started to question, like, well, what am I waiting for? And what am I, like, all the things that I was afraid of, like afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid of looking stupid, like all those things that people fear, right? They just didn't matter. Like, when I looked at it in the big picture, like, who cares?
I want to be happy now. I don't care about the future. I want to be happy right now. And so that's when I decided, like, I got to leave and I got to think about what would make me happy now and do that. So I asked myself, what makes me happy now? Well, if I had it my way, I would want to travel the world with my sister and talk about art. Let's do it. And we can have a podcast about it, and that'll give us guidelines.
But here's the thing. If you're chasing perfection, you could be chasing that the rest of your life, and it's never going to actually happen. At the end of the day, the best thing you can do, if you know you have a message that's going to help somebody, get it out there as early, as quick as possible, and consistently as you can. And that's really what adds the value. People will forgive you for lack of quality if the content itself is good and is actually helpful.
I think it's critical to have a vision for your life. If you're a spiritual person, to pray for that. If you're a networker, to grab a bunch of people around that are going to ask you difficult questions. If you're more of a contemplative person, to really go on some personal retreats and wrestle with it. But you need a vision for your life, because it just pulls you forward into a desired future. Even if you just come up with a 1-year vision for your life, I think it's critical, because then it's like, this is where I want my wellness to be, my relationships to be, my business to be. And now it's like, all right, there's a target. Now I'm going to back into that with some goals, and then I'm going to use time management to make sure those goals get in my calendar and build some momentum on that. And I just think we all need momentum, or else we just drift. So I think that is the key, is you need a compelling vision for your life.
The beautiful song you're hearing is called Cloister by Joy Shannon and the Beauty Marks, and it is part of an album that releases in 6 days from today on December 21st, which she chose because it is the winter solstice and it's a time for releasing. The amazing Joy Shannon is our guest on today's show, and we talk about her lifelong journey with creativity and healing and how the two intersect. I think this conversation is the perfect note to end 2020 on. I'm really delighted to introduce the gorgeous and very talented Joy Shannon. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you just talk a little bit more about what led you to kind of leaning into things like Reiki? You use it in your tattooing.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. I found a wonderful Reiki master who is still practicing. She's in Torrance. And then I just started doing it on friends and my animals. Yeah, I would always, any animal in need, I would always do Reiki. Animals are the easiest, I think, to do Reiki on. And I never did it publicly. I think I was still very quiet and shy about sharing spiritual things, because I've always been really concerned about not like forcing any spiritual beliefs on anybody, because I don't believe in that. I always want to keep really good boundaries with that. Like, I feel like spirituality is a very individual journey. So each person knows what's right for them. Nobody else knows what's right for you.
Yeah. One thing that you'll hear me talk about a lot is gratitude. And yesterday's episode was all about credit report and showing yourself some gratitude for what you're accomplishing, and just showing yourself acknowledgement, giving permission to sort of just be in your space and know what you're doing, and giving yourself a little pat on the back. So gratitude is another thing that you can always add into your day. The credit report is sort of linked to that same concept. And just want to remind you that this is something you can always do for yourself. You can take a moment and say one thing to yourself that you appreciate today. And what that does is it elevates sort of a positive element to what you're approaching, instead of focusing on the negative things that are driving you crazy about the thing you're trying to get done, or the people around you, or all the things that we do to get, all the things that we have to be around or have to have in our lives to have the life we want, basically. For example, one thing you can do is create a gratitude notebook if you want to go that far, or just say to yourself one or two things each day, either in the morning or at the end of the day, or maybe even in the middle of the day is a nice time to break up what you're doing with gratitude by saying, okay, maybe it's a difficult project that you're working on, but what is it that you love about it? What are you grateful for? Are you grateful for having it in your life, that you get to work on the things that you love to work on, that you get to make space for it? Are you grateful for the people in your life that take care of other things so that you can do this thing? Or is there something that is really bothering you right now? Now, this is a twist. If there's something that is just under your skin that's really bothering you, try to think of the one thing that you are really grateful for within that category, whether it's a person or a space that you're in, anything at all. What is the one thing that you're really glad to have? Hi, welcome back to Small Shifts on Be Bold Begin, the 30-day Self-Gratitude Challenge edition. Today's question of self-gratitude is, what if what I do today is enough? What if whatever you get to today is enough? All the tasks and small actions you take to create a day of productivity and service are enough.
It doesn't matter what we've done in our past, really. The past does not reach out from the past to determine what we have to do in this next minute. There's an extraordinary freedom that each of us has in every new moment, a freedom to begin again and turn towards what's personally important, to author our lives.
Thank you for listening to Be Bold Begin. We hope that these episodes are helping inspire and empower you to take your next steps towards whatever you're thinking of creating. And if you want more tools, resources, and techniques for your creative process and to connect with me directly, then I'd love to invite you to our Unleash Creative community. Just follow the link in the show notes and I'll look forward to meeting you there. Happy creating.